Pennsylvania, Mr. Sestak.
The gentleman from Pennsylvania is recognized for 2.5 minutes.
I rise to make 4 points in support of this bill. First, I believe the U.S. government response has actually been too timid and too slow. Let me just take, for example, the failure of this House on the first vote in September to pass the initial bill, TARP bill. As a result of that, Mr. Paulson actually backed away from the initial purpose of this bill, which was to actually purchase distressed mortgage securities and to begin to give clarity, a price to them, so that we might have attracted by now more private investment into the markets. Instead, he had a mistaken policy that he pursued in his panic of actually putting more equity direct into the market. I believe, therefore, you've seen things happen that others have taken the place of our timid response. The Federal Reserve actually has stepped in as just for one example, actually guaranteeing in Citicorp's group hundreds of billions of dollars of distressed equities, which we in the TARP program were actually meant to salvage. Second, I believe that we actually have had success. We have moved back from the apex of financial crisis, financial panic, when for the first week in October, not one bond was issued in the United States. The first time that has occurred in the history of America. As we step back, we've seen the overnight bank lending rate actually fall from historic highs significantly downward. That is important because every credit card in America is tied to that rate, and 50% of every adjustable rate mortgage is tied to that rate as we salvage a more dire consumer credit and other types of credit challenges. Third, I believe that as we have seen some success, as we've seen that the 10-year Treasury securities and as our mortgage rates have fallen and the dollar has strengthened, much more needs to be done. And that's what this bill does. It institutes the accountability that is absolutely critical. If I learned anything in the Navy, expect what you inspect, and we do have the right inspection regime finally in this bill. As we also step back and begin to get money, funding to those types in Tier 2 that need it, the commercial banks that can give it direct to consumers for loans and to small businesses. And as we begin to salvage the mortgage foreclosure, which is a long pole in the tent for the recovery and our economic recovery. And the final point is this. Again, at sea is what I learned is when you were in a physical storm at sea, woe be that seaman that never took precautions because he thought it might be unnecessary. We are truly in a financial storm, and the U.S. government is the only one who can continue to take the precautions necessary in order to salvage us from this storm. I yield back the remainder of my time.
Gentleman yields back the time.